and surely not to cops armed with guns and batons and tasers. All he had was a coat and a mask and a gentle bearing that enveloped his vulnerable soul as he was trying to get by on his own terms. But those terms were soon to come to a cataclysmic end. The history of race would yet again be condensed into an interaction between the cops and a young black anybody from black anywhere doing black anything on any given black night. Yes, it was random. You were to that degree random, but it was a randomness that exists within a universe of perverse predictability that means any black person can be targeted anywhere at any time. This reinforces the vulnerability that all of us black folk share, and that you, sweet young Elijah, bore in your body on that fateful night. Like all the black deaths this nation has recently reckoned with, your loss was an egregious offense to humanity. You could have been our baby brother or son or grandson, anyone young whose life had just begun, who, like any soul, deserves to exist until time expires and space collapses in a natural rhythm of life and death. As is often the case for the black dead, most of us got to know your name only after you were gone. With the belated circulation of the video capturing the events that led to your death, we learned that you met your fate in Aurora, Colorado. We grieve for you still. Just 23, you were a tender-hearted, beautiful young man who, in your own words, was different because you did things like play the violin to soothe stray cats. Your coworkers said you seemed to walk with a gold orb around you. Someone called the cops on you, saying you appeared suspicious as you walked home from a convenience store in the summer of 2019, waving your arms. You wore a ski mask because your anemia made you get cold easily. When the cops arrived, you begged them to truly see you. You said, "I am an introvert. Please respect the boundaries that I am speaking." You told them you were on your way home and asked them to stop being so aggressive. The interaction quickly escalated as you, all of 5 feet 6 inches and 140 pounds, tried to speak to the cops, and they refused to listen. They applied a carotid hold to limit the blood flow to your brain, rendering you temporarily unconscious. And when the Aurora Fire Rescue arrived, they administered ketamine to you in an effort to sedate you, which in combination with the trauma you endured was enough to eventually kill you. Elijah, your words that evening are heartbreaking. You tried so hard to convince the police that you were no threat to anyone and a good person, much the way that George Floyd tried to convince the cops that he was not a bad guy. The string of words that flowed from your mouth as the cops brutalized you is at once sad, because you tried your best to show that you were a meek and mild soul, and enraging, because it didn't matter what you said. They were hell-bent on smashing your body into nothingness, into not there-ness. Elijah, you showed you were a sensitive and lovely soul. You did this despite enduring bouts of crying and vomiting. Elijah, you too, like Eric Garner and George Floyd, said, "I can't breathe." You told them, "I'm just different. That's all. I'm so sorry." You told them, "I have no gun. I don't do that stuff." You promised, "I don't do any fighting." Then you pleaded, "Why are you attacking me? I don't even kill flies. I don't eat meat." As if your penchant for peacefulness and your dietary discipline might somehow convince them that your life was worth sparing. But Elijah, you quickly insisted that you didn't have a sense of moral superiority over those who disagreed with your choice. "But I don't judge people who do eat meat," you said. You begged them to forgive you. No, my lovely young friend, it is they who need to beg your forgiveness and be held accountable. Yes, it is true that a few months later, one of the cops involved in your death, along with a couple of fellow officers, were fired because they took selfies near the site where you were killed, including one of the cops mimicking the very chokehold that led to your death. And as they did so, they laughed with a cruelty that's hard to fathom. But that is not justice for you, Elijah. Those